Hey everybody, it is episode 349.
We're talking all things men's health today. Last episode of Movember, longevity. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Prime Podcast. Today we are talking about longevity. I have Dr. Julie Wies here with me today, my beautiful, amazing wife. We've had a really good November here talking about men's health. I'll tell you, that protein one popped off. That thing was awesome. I think men want to know how to eat healthier and really get stronger, healthier
Longevity,
muscles, right? The last one here on erectile dysfunction, that one is something that could touch a lot of nerves with men. Touch a lot of nerves. But there's so much more going into that episode. Please listen to it. It's so much more than just erectile dysfunction. Just go back and listen. And I think you will find something pretty incredible for yourself out there, gentlemen and ladies that listen. Like if you're trying to understand your men's psyche, we help out a lot there. And then men out there, if you're raising young boys, like where are the avenues you need to take to talk to your little guys about being really good men?
Well, I think it's the setting up of, like we talk about growing healthy kids. It's also the lifestyle that we live, the things that we watch, the things that we do, which ultimately affects that, ED later on in life. So that's why it's definitely important for kids.
Exactly. And today we're going to talk longevity, which will basically sum up the entire month because the whole month has been about men's health. And one of the biggest things men worry about is their longevity. And with the passing of my dad 2 years ago, you guys have heard me talk about this with the passing of my dad and then the passing of my mom here this year in March. It was really hard. It's really brought in my mortality and my thought process. And it's been tough because I've been pretty hard on myself mentally, trying to figure out where I fit in now and what's going to happen in my life over the next 30, 40 years. Could be as short as 20. Who knows? Could be tomorrow. Who really knows? But that longevity focus of what do I have to do with my health now and what have I done in the past that might have been detrimental, and how do I clean it up? And then going forward, what do I do to give myself the best chances possible to live as long as I possibly can, spend the most time I can with you as I possibly can, because I don't want to spend time with anybody else. And then how do I be the best dad possible to spend as much time with my children to, I want to be there to walk my daughter down the aisle. I want to be there if we have grandkids, if we have granddaughters and grandsons, I want to be there for their weddings. I want to be there for them like my grandmas were. And losing both of my granddads at 69 and then my dad before he was 68 and my mom by the time she was 68, like, damn.
And I think that's where, and again, like many people would get stuck in that thought process of, well, my family lived to this age. That's all that I'm going to live for. And I think that's where we can go down the whole road of epigenetics and different things.
Yeah.
And it's also, people, think, well, that's in my family, so it's hereditary, which could be farther from the truth, right? And I think that's where it's great to just preface this from the beginning that, yes, we have DNA. We get things like our eye color, our hair color from family. But we have to look at this like a recipe, right? We can decide the additional ingredients that we want to put in or take out of that recipe. That's the way that we live our day to day. That's the things that we watch, the food that we consume, the things we put into our body, our activity levels. Those are the ingredients that we get to change, which then can change the trajectory. That even though we have this, this DNA from our parents and grandparents, right? That doesn't mean that, okay, 68, that's the destination.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the longevity point that we get to change that trajectory.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a person's mortality can be those thoughts can get pretty dark and be super morbid at times. And sometimes people won't understand why you're angry, or they won't understand the depth of where your mind's going, in men or women. And it's a hard thing. But I think coming back to this recipe is a great example to use throughout this podcast. I'm glad you talked about this because there's a specific order to a recipe as well. Like for proper baking, and there's an order. You don't like you combine your wets together, and then you combine your dries together, and then you combine your wet and your dry. You don't overmix, or you mix more than you're supposed to. Like there's certain ways to do this. It's a full chemistry set, and that's how your body is. And I think the first thing we need to look at in this recipe is what is your nervous system doing out there, gentlemen? We are notorious for not doing anything for ourselves until things are broken, falling apart, or maybe it's been around so long that we just can't take it anymore. And we talked about this in pain, but your nervous system runs everything. And that's where I feel I have a leg up on every person in my family, because number one, I have you taking care of me. But number two is that I've had my nervous system checked regularly since I was very young. And even going through that whole symptoms-based approach that my chiropractic care was when I was younger, I still feel it benefited me, because I was never not at my chiropractor less than twice a month because I had a lot of shit going on. So I was always there regardless. But that has helped me. And then since going through chiropractic school and actually learning the foundations of what chiropractic truly is, which is the ability of allowing the body to express itself through full brain communication and taking care of those interference areas so the body can function and adapt like it's supposed to instead of compensation. Because disease process in any human is from compensation, whether it's compensating to toxicity, compensating to trauma, compensating to really toxic, crappy thoughts or things that people have put in your mind that you are going to die by 68. Like all of these things that your body compensates with instead of adapts to, which then causes all of these problems, correct?
Well, and that's like, and I think that's part of that emotional and the things that we think about that really gets overlooked.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where like you can hear the testimonies and the stories of this like super healthy person. Like you look at this person and the things that they put into their body and the exercise and like top of health, like say like a marathon or whatever that is.
Yep.
And all of a sudden they just fall over dead.
Yeah.
And it was the mental health issue.
Yep.
And then you can also see those people that were diagnosed with cancer. And then the only thing they change is their mental thoughts and who they surround themselves with and the positivity and the things that they do. Yeah. And all of a sudden that cancer is gone.
Right. Right. And that was something that in my family was really hard for them to get their minds around. My mom was in her second bout of pancreatic cancer and end stage, where they couldn't understand like why my mom was trying to stay so positive all the time. And it has a lot to do with the mindset of things. Sometimes there's a limitation of tissue where no matter how good your mindset is and how much you pray, there are things that they just can't be healed. As crappy as that is, and barring an absolute miracle by God, which do happen every day, sometimes these things just don't work out. But you have two decisions. Either you're going to go out feeling like crap and thinking that your body is horrible, or you're going to go out thinking that you're happy and healthy and trying to stay that way and getting your mindset in the right position. And near the end of life with my mom, when I don't want to say finally admitted to herself that she wasn't going to live much longer, even then she still stayed positive as much as she could. And there's certain people that just couldn't wrap their heads around it. They just couldn't, and they couldn't understand it. I could, because why the hell would you want it any other way?
Right.
Like, I don't understand that. And knowing that we could do everything possible, that she was doing everything she could, gave her peace of mind. My dad was totally different with his heart attack. It was totally different. But again, he died happy because he was bringing in 2 ducks that he had just shot. Like my dad lived for hunting and being outdoors. So gentlemen out there, like there's things here, and my dad was very proactive with his heart to a point, and did everything he could. But there was also things in his mindset where he would just tell me, well, it is what it is. I've been this way my whole life. Well, that doesn't mean that we can't change, like literally turn the car in a different direction.
Well, and that's where I think it's so many times people are like, well, I want to take care of my family, or I want to take care of my significant other. But then we need to also think of, instead of thinking like this is our body, this is ours, think of it like you're renting it from somebody else, right? Just like you'd, like if you have a brand new car, like you want to take care of that and you get it tuned up and you wash it and you change the tires, like you do all those things. Think of your body that same way.
Yep.
And if you would think that you have to turn this body in when you're done with it, how do you want to return it to that person?
Yes.
Right. And so I think if we would frame that mindset that way, and we're taking care of it for our spouse, we're taking care of it for a significant other, right? I think that can help to change that, maybe that dichotomy that we play in our head that, well, I'm not going to worry about myself. I'm going to worry and put everybody else first.
Well, that's what happens as a provider. That's what happens as a parent on both sides of the sexual discrepancies here, both male and female, moms and dads have these issues where they put everybody ahead of themselves. And I told you while we were on vacation, I said, you deserve better, because at times I don't put myself first at all. And I let things really go downhill at times. And because I'm trying to help everybody else, but you do the same thing.
Right.
You know, we do the same things to each other. And then when we take a step back and from a male's perspective, really try to understand this stuff, like there comes a point where you either come to acceptance and want to change things, or you come to a point of accepting that it is what it is, and you don't do anything about it, which is the worst thing you could possibly do.
Right.
And you know, you talked about wheels and alignment of this car. Well, let's talk about alignment, because that for men with your vitality, it is directly correlated to your posture as well. And your brain is what drives your posture. There will be other people out there in healthcare that will tell you that, no, it's the muscles. The muscles don't do jack unless the nervous system is telling them what to do. You can stretch them out. Why do you constantly feel like you need to stretch? Because you don't have the communication to those muscles to keep them calm, to keep them relaxed. So they're always in this state of fight or flight. They're always in this state of spasm and protection. And if I'm constantly trying to protect something, eventually I'm going to wear out, or I will wear out.
You get tired, yeah.
Yes, and men, if you're out there, and we see a couple things. Number one, if your head is too far forward of your shoulders, that is a sympathetic stress-based response, and it's been there for a very long time. If you see yourself and you're constantly hunched forward like this, which we see in a lot of young individuals, they're constantly under stress. And that just leads to more and more stress as they get older. Does this lead to burnout? Yeah, it does lead to burnout. But guess what your body does? Your body does just as good a job at compensating as it does adapting. So it will eventually compensate past burnout and make you think you're fine. And then it burns you out even harder. And then it burns you out even harder. And then before you know it, the entire state of California is on fire and you can't put it out anymore. And now you're in your 60s sick and possibly dying and not knowing.
Well, we can talk about longevity. Typically, women outlive men.
Yep.
But the concern now is all of these young kids that are looking down at their phone that is already literally taking like days and years off of their longevity because they're sitting in this stress response position.
Yes. And one of the best things about men up until the last 15 to 20 years is that men are not massively social individuals. So we're not, for lack of a better thing, we're not trying to create a massive group gathering for us to talk about our feelings. But what's happened is because of our phones, we have become less social with people around us, which is not okay. But we could become more social with our phones, meaning we're sitting here staring at it and looking for different ways to increase sensitivity, increase dopamine rushes, whatever you want to call it, which we talked about in our last episode. But where I'm going with this is that we become even less social, which doesn't allow us to get out and do things. And it keeps us from being active because we've become addicted to this, which has led to massive inactivity. Massive inactivity.
Well, and I would say the video games as well.
Yeah,
right?
and well, they're all on this.
Correct.
And they're all in front of you on your computers and on your PlayStations and the things that I grew up with, which now all of us are in our early 40s that grew up in that 80s generation with all these electronics and different things. And what's happened then is that's really messed with our longevity. So now we're going into peptide therapies and we're trying to bring in things into our bodies that, yes, do promote health. But my question is why has it gotten it so bad that we now have to look and find peptides to get us back to where we were in our 20s when it's natural to age a little bit in your 40s and still have stamina, endurance, normal testosterone, normal levels for your body. Instead, we're now looking at peptide therapy to try to increase these things when we can do them on our own.
Well, and I think it's because it's always easy. People are always going to look for like the magic potion, the quick fix, the little pill. But I think it's also, we talked about it, we've pushed our body for so long that I think in our head, we're thinking, well, my body can't get back to that, so I need something else. But if we talk about longevity and the things that we can do, your body remembers and it will go back to that. We just need to allow it and give it that chance to do that.
Yes. And we can see this directly by just looking in the mirror, taking a picture of ourselves and actually analyzing it. What does our face look like? What areas are balanced? What areas aren't balanced? And it's not for you to look at yourself under a microscope, but literally take that 30,000-foot overview of what you look like on a picture and actually say, okay, do I look healthier than what I did 5 years ago? Do I look worse? Have I aged? What has changed? And then is there things that I can do naturally, like chiropractic care, exercise, even physical therapy, things that really help your body get healthier and build muscle and get stronger and get more active, versus what are the potions, pills, and injections that I can take that allow me to not be disciplined for myself, to make myself a better human being, and just give me an easy way out.
Yeah, that's people are looking for the quick and easy. And if we be retrospective, look internal. I mean, and some of this stuff, yes, can cost a lot of money, but there's so many things that we can do that doesn't cost anything.
Well, on the grand scheme of things, you're right. Or it costs way less than what it does in the end, which could be your life, which could be a lot of things. So creating this healthy legacy, this longevity, is what you want to look at. Is what is the legacy I'm setting now, and then what are your kids doing? What are the people around you watching? And then are you instilling those healthy habits in them? I think the reason why our son isn't addicted to video games more than he already is the fact that I don't sit there and play with him. I'm not video game dad. I'm golf dad, which is fine because we're out moving. Right. I'm get outside and do something, dad. I'm fixing. I like last night we're doing electrical work at 9:30 in our house, changing lights out. But I'm that dad. You know, I would rather be doing that, teaching something, or just doing it myself. And, you know, I have a lot of thanks to give to my dad and my grandpa and the classes I was told to take in school that brought me the education so I can do this stuff. But that allows me then to pass on legacy to my son and my daughter and be able to make sure that they're going to be okay. But also it helps. It starts with me trying to be as healthy as I can. And to me, the most number one thing, the cure, not the cure, but the core, the cure, whatever you want to call it, to that, the foundation, it's chiropractic care. It's making sure, like this morning, our son woke up. We knew last night when he went to bed, he wasn't feeling the best. He has sore throat. He didn't go to school today. We kept him home so he can just recover. But he comes downstairs and he asked me if he could be checked. He didn't ask me for zinc and elderberry syrup and all these other things that we have, because he knew he was getting that regardless.
Well, and that's the foundation, right? We need to have the body primed and ready. Like the car needs to be tuned up when you put air in the tires and you put, oh my goodness, oil when you get an oil change,
gas in the tank.
You do all these things, right? The car needs to be in good working order. You're not going to just go to the junkyard, find the car, and think you can drive it off the lot. Right? If you're restoring something, you need to make sure the tires and the engine works and there's oil, all of these things to then drive that car down and out of the lot. Exactly. It's the same thing with chiropractic.
And taking care of your car doesn't come easy. If it was easy, you just buy a new car every year.
Everybody would have.
Everybody would. Like, you just buy a new car every year. It's expensive.
That's how we're treating our bodies.
That's how you're treating your bodies, and that's how you're teaching your children to do things too. And if your son's seeing you injecting yourself with different things to try to keep your health up, well, what are the things you could be doing with that could be actually helping your son or your daughter learn healthy habits and making sure and defining what health truly is to your family? I think that's a big thing too, because some people just feel that health in their family is not having symptoms. And I'll tell you, when your kids aren't complaining that they're feeling bad, it kind of makes you feel okay that maybe things are all right. You know, like in the back of your mind, you're like, oh, great, they're not complaining to me this time. But then the question is is, are they not complaining to you because they know it falls on deaf ears? Have they gotten used to the pain? Or are they not complaining because they actually do have health? And what are the steps you've taken so you can sit there at night knowing that I've done everything possible to keep my family healthy that I can do within my means of getting my kids adjusted, making sure they're eating properly, talking to them about things that might not be healthy that they might be doing, like what are the unhealthy habits? I think we have a conversation every night. We're not perfect, but we have a conversation every night with our kids about cell phone use and about digital shit. But about that stuff, because we know that it will negatively affect their health, mentally, physically, and emotionally.
I think I'm hoping like in 20 years, right? Then it's be like, thanks for not letting me consume 5 hours a day on my electronics. It'll come eventually, but I think it's people need to literally they're dying from it now. But I think once it becomes so much more vast and the health complications that's attached to it, for these kids to finally learn that at that point, right, the addiction has already set in, but that they understand that it's not that we're just terrible parents and it's a punishment, but it's literally for their longevity.
Yeah. And I want to be real upfront with you. I have zero ill will for people that use peptide therapies and different hormone therapies. There's a time and a place for all of it.
Absolutely.
Just not everybody needs it. And the really good therapy clinics out there know that. And they test for it. They test for the levels. They put you on the stuff that they need, but they're not looking for you to be on it constantly. They want you on it, get your levels back, and then what do they have to do to help you maintain it without having to put extra in to get it back to where it belongs?
Right.
And at the end of the day, is there everything that you're doing possibly to help promote your longevity in your family, to set up a healthy legacy? And you really have to ask yourself, men out there and ladies that listen, ask your husbands this, is, are we doing everything we can to make sure we and our children stay healthy? And at the core of that, is there good nutrition? Is there good hydration? But the bottom of it all comes down to, is their nervous system working appropriately, and are they getting checked by a chiropractor? That's it. So, gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed this November. Go back and listen to these episodes on repeat as much as you want. Share them to men in your life that you feel that might be suffering with some mental, emotional issues or some erectile dysfunction problems, or trying to gain some muscle mass and how do they get stronger, or just what was it in this month that really made you think of somebody in your life, like beside yourself, that, hey, they may need to hear this, and share it with them, because you will change their life.
And I would say if you are looking for our longevity plan, just make sure you comment longevity there, and we will send that to bullet pointed at all the things that you need to know to add some additional years to your life, and then we'll get that out to you. And your wife will appreciate it too. Take care, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you all in December. Bye.